Hello and welcome back to Double A Sports. We are sitting back in the trade corner,
Yes, the trade corner has returned.
cooking up more trades.
This time, well, there's been a lot of trade news in the last few days, but this time specifically, we're going to address two major players in the league right now. And I don't want to spoil the second one, so let's just get into the first one, well, I guess the title will probably spoil it, but still. The first one is Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies, former second overall pick in the 2019 draft. And this situation between Ja and Memphis has been messy, to say the least.
To say the least, dude.
Yeah, there's been obviously he's well known for his off the court antics over the last few years, having to miss, pretty much an entire season's worth of games because he can't put down the guns and the cameras. And then dealing with some injury stuff here and there. He hasn't, exactly been an Iron Man. I
Yep.
think this is purely hypothesis on my part, but I think if you remember last year when Taylor Jenkins was fired with like 10 games left in the season, I think a lot of that was because him and Ja Morant were butting heads because at that point in the season, Ja Morant had already missed a lot of games and the team was quite frankly running better without him. And
Yep.
so when he came back, he had less of a role in the offense because they were trying to win the games. Ja didn't like that. The front office basically had to make a decision between head coach and player, and they chose player, as most franchises often do. That's my hypothesis. And we've already been seeing reports this year that Ja Morant is butting heads with the coaching staff, that he's not, playing or getting the ball in his hands in late game situations or whatever the case may be. There's that one famous, I don't know how viral it went, but there's like the clip that somebody, like a reporter had asked him, and he was like, I don't know, ask the coaching staff. Like it's
Yep.
bad
Not stuff
attitude
you want to
all
hear.
around. Yeah, and I think also the lack of progress through his career. His third season in the NBA, he won Most Improved Player. He was in MVP talks. He really broke out as a star. And then since then, he's kind of been either stagnant or worse. This season, I think, is a bit of an outlier. He's been having like an exceptionally bad year shooting, but I think part of that is that one, he's like completely checked out, and two, dealing with all the injuries and stuff he has over the last few years.
Yep.
But safe to say, his time in Memphis has probably come to an end. There is a report that the Grizzlies are shopping him. And so we have cooked up some fun trade ideas, many of which the legitimacy of is questionable. I didn't run them through any simulators to make sure they work, but we're going to assume they do because that's what we do over here. Aiden, you want to start?
Yeah. I've got first off I've got Ja Morant to Miami.
Love it.
Um Memphis in return gets Jaime Jaquez, Davion Mitchell, and one or two future first round picks depending on how weird the market for Ja Morant actually ends up being. This is one thing that I'm kind of having a hard time predicting. Um, I don't know what it's going to look like. I think Hawkes and Mitchell are quite a good baseline package of players to get in return for him.
I agree.
So you may only need to include one first, but I think Miami would be willing to include a second to get him in return.
Yeah.
I think it would add some stuff to their offense that they don't have right now, like an explosive guy inside. Um, I don't know. I think it would be interesting, and they wouldn't be giving up a ton to get
No.
him.
And I agree with your point that like the Ja Morant market is like kind of a big question mark for anybody that's not actively taking phone calls in the NBA right now. Like I think it's probably much lower than a lot of people are assuming, which is crazy to say about a guy as talented as Ja Morant. But so your pack, it was Ja for Jaime Jaquez, Davion Mitchell, and a first or two.
Yeah,
Okay,
a first or two, depending on what the market ends up being. And
sure.
I think that people are going to freak out about whatever the package is because, picks are what matters in NBA trades at this point. Even though I think we've kind of learned that some of the better trades that have been made in the last couple of years haven't included picks, like, the one that put the Indiana Pacers in the finals. Like, they traded a player for a younger player, and that younger player blossomed into a superstar. Everything went well.
Yeah, and Jaime's been balling this year. He's
And
been
I
really
think
good.
that it's a similar, like, I think if you give Jaime a, bigger role on that Memphis team, like, you could potentially be getting some all-star buzz out of him for the
Yeah,
next couple years.
I don't hate that at all. And then also like with any of these trades, the Grizzlies' future is questionable of whether they try to stay contending with Jaren Jackson Jr. and try to make that work, or if they just full on rebuild. They have some young guys like Gigi Jackson and Zach Edey and stuff, but I mean Jaime is like what 22, 23. Like he's also very young. He could kind of fit into whatever young core
Yep.
the Grizzlies try to put together. Um, my trade is keeping Ja in the West. I have him going to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh,
There was some buzz around the Timberwolves trying to trade for Ja Morant earlier in the season, or maybe it was in the offseason. I don't really remember. But I think they like him. I think Ant wants to play with Ja. I think this moves Mike Conley to the bench, which is a much better role for him. Um, I think so. My package is Ja Morant and Santi Aldama, the trolley problem, if you will. Go, go
I forgot about all those stupid fucking nicknames, dude.
dude, they're so funny. Going to Minnesota for Rob Dillingham, Rudy Gobert, a 2026 first, a 2028 first, and then a 2026 and 2027 second round picks. So this is the Grizzlies getting 2 future first round picks and a player that could maybe be something in Rob Dillingham that is yet to be determined, and Rudy Gobert, who is a very good player that can get you some value in the market still, for Ja Morant and Santi Aldama, who Santi Aldama's been having a really good year this year. He's shooting 33% from three is not that great, but he's taking a pretty high volume. He's taking 5 a game. He's averaging 13.5 points, 7 boards. And I think having him as like a bench shooter for the Timberwolves would be a really good piece. And then obviously Ja Morant kind of seals the deal for the Timberwolves. I think that would be a massive upgrade for them. And then you trade Rudy Gobert, which sucks for your defense. You definitely lose that little bit of your identity, but it also, I think,
Yeah.
gives Naz Reid an opportunity to start. And, the Timberwolves paid him a good chunk of money to stay on that team in the offseason, and he's, kind of just a bench guy for them right now. He's playing, like, what? He's playing 24 minutes a game, and I think I'd like to see him have the opportunity for some higher volume with the starting lineup.
Agreed. Yeah,
Um,
I like that one. I think that a Anthony Davis Ja Morant duo would be fun as fuck. I think that those are a very fun set of play styles to put together in your backcourt. Um, yeah, I like that one a lot, actually.
Heck yeah. Dude, every time you say that, it makes me so happy. So,
Dude, I am to please.
did you have another jaw trade?
I do.
Let's hear it.
I've got Ja Morant to the Phoenix Suns
Whoa. Okay. Didn't see that coming. Let's hear it.
for Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, and a 2030 first round pick that Washington has the rights to swap. You could also include the 2032 unprotected first round pick, which is the only one that Phoenix still has to give up.
So it's Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, and two
I
first rounders
another
potentially.
Yeah, basically either one or two first round picks depending on the market.
Okay.
And Phoenix gets Ja Morant.
That's a tough one because John Morant and Devin Booker together would be absolutely nasty. But then
Right?
also for the Suns, you're losing so much of your Grayson Allen and Dylan Brooks have been like legitimately 2 very high caliber starters for that team. On a team that already doesn't have a whole lot of depth.
Right.
So that is
I think it's a move that maybe Phoenix makes with the intention of kind of looking ahead with this core, with the core duo of Morant and Booker.
right. So maybe you're losing this season, but then you can retool a little bit.
Right.
That is, yeah, I get because the Suns definitely aren't competing this year. So if you're able to solidify a John Morant, Devin Booker backcourt, dude, that's fucking nasty. Oh my
Right?
god. And there's really no gangsters in Phoenix, so like,
Not at all.
yeah, that'd be great. Damn, you kind of cooked.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. And Dylan Brooks gets to go back to Memphis. They ended on such
Exactly.
good terms.
Yeah, they love him there.
Yeah. But I do like that, though. I mean, I don't think either Grayson Allen or Dylan Brooks would end up on the Grizzlies for too long, but it gives them an opportunity to retool and get more assets out of those guys. Like, yeah, I like that a lot as well. And then that also, I think, in both cases, because like in my hypothetical Timberwolves trade, the Grizzlies aren't keeping Rudy Gobert for too long. So
No.
like I think that also begs the question of like I don't have anything mocked up, but like I'm assuming you have the same thought process of like they would completely retool, or rebuild, which means like a Jaren Jackson Jr. trade's probably imminent, right? Like if they go
Yes.
through with this John Morant trade, just kind of blow it up completely.
I would agree.
Okay. Yeah. Um. Next up, we have LaMelo Ball of Charlotte Hornets fame. On the trade block, there have been reports that the Hornets are interested. I don't know how official it is because NBA players do this thing where whenever there's trade rumors, they have to respond on social media to
Yeah,
try and
it's
make it
awesome.
seem like it's not true. So under some tweet or whatever about the Hornets shopping LaMelo, he put up like a clown emoji or whatever. So like I don't know.
The classic non-incriminating response. Everybody
Yeah.
believes a clown emoji.
Right. So, I think it's safe to say he's on the market at least. The Hornets are kind of in a weird spot. They're not a team we super duper touched on, or I don't even think we touched on them really at all in our. No, we did because we talked about Khan and how good he's been, but we didn't talk
Yeah.
about the Hornets too much in our last video. They, in classic Hornets fashion, have been dealing with some injury issues. LaMelo Ball's missed like 6 games or something already. He's having a bit of a down year. His shot's not really falling as it used to. He's always been kind of a high turnover guy, but he's got 4 a game. Like, I don't know. He's 304th in true shooting percentage across the league. so like that's not great. And I mean you look at like Miles Bridges has been playing better. He's averaging 22, 7 and 4. Khan's come in and been like a super impactful rookie right away. He's averaging 18 points on 48, 40, 89 splits. Like that's crazy. And Brandon Miller is still out. He's missed pretty much the entire season. I think he's played like 3 games, but I think the LaMelo era in Charlotte might be over. He's only 24, so it's kind of weird to say that, but I don't know.
I agree.
So with that in mind, I guess I can go first since you started the last one. My LaMelo Ball trade is to the Miami Heat. It's actually like kind of similar to yours. I think I was a little concerned about making the money match. So my trade is LaMelo Ball and Pat Connaughton to the Heat. In return, you get Jaime Jaquez, you get Andrew Wiggins, you get Pele Larson, and a 28 and a 29 first round pick.
I love it.
Thanks, man.
That one, yeah, talk about that one for a minute.
Yeah, so for the Heat, they get their point guard because Tyler Hero's been out all season, and I think I personally like him more as a natural too anyway. Davion Mitchell has done a pretty good job. I think one of the big things for me with the Heat when I was mocking up this trade is that they did need to keep Davion Mitchell because I think one, he's such an Eric Spoelstra player, like that it fits him so well. But also like he can be a very good backup for them, and if and when LaMelo Ball has some injuries, he can kind of slide right in and do what he's been doing for most of the season. Pat Connaughton is an older guy. He was on the Bucks for a while. He's never been really anything crazy, but the Heat get the most out of their role players, and he's one of those guys that like they could turn him into like a 40% 3-point shooter or something crazy in that system. And for the Hornets, you get Jaime Jaquez, who is a very good. He's blossomed this year. I think he's averaging 17 points, 7 boards, 5 assists. He's shooting 51% from the field, 20% from 3 on 2 attempts, which isn't great, but every player's got their downsides, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's having a good year, and for the Hornets, you get another guard you can kind of pair up with Khan as kind of an off-ball guard. I guess I shouldn't say off-ball. He's good with the ball in his hands, but he's not like a primary playmaker like a LaMelo Ball or whatever. But he's super young. You can turn him into whatever you want. You get Andrew Wiggins, who's a very serviceable, very experienced wing, hopefully a veteran for Brandon Miller. The Hornets don't really have too many of those. And he also is just there to make the money work. And then Pele Larson, who's a second-year guard, who's doing pretty good this season. He's averaging like 10 points, I think 3 assists, 3 boards. Pretty limited minutes, but he's shown signs of being pretty good. He's shooting 51, 38, 80 splits. He's efficient. He's young. You can maybe turn him into that ball handling guard if you need to. And then 2 first-round picks, which if this trade has the impact I think it will, Heat picks aren't going to ever really be, top 5 or top 10, but you get 2 more picks to kind of build around in the future. The Hornets, I feel like, are always kind of perpetually in a rebuild, unfortunately, but I don't know. The weird thing, the LaMelo market's weird because none of the top contending teams really need his skill set. So then you go to a team like the Heat who are on the fringe and want to make a run.
I also have Miami trading for him. My package is different. I've got Tyler Herro.
Oh.
Nikola Jovic. And a first-round pick. Going to Charlotte in return.
The All-Star.
For LaMelo. I think you trade the All-Star because, first of all, that's the easiest way to make the money match.
Right, that's true.
They are on, I want to say, basically the same extension. I think that they are they the same draft class, actually?
Yes.
Here,
20,
I know,
they're both 2020, right?
Melo's 20, and I'm pretty sure Hero's 2022.
Let me look it
or
up.
2020 as well. So, yeah, they're on pretty much the same extension.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Mitchell called me. I thought it was something important. He wanted to rant about how his coworker said John Stockton's better all time than Steph Curry, so I told him I'd call him back.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
fair enough.
Anyway, continue.
So, first off, I think that's the easiest way to make the money. Same draft class. I think they're on the same extension, although they might not be. Melo made an game maybe before Tyler Herro did. Maybe. I don't know.
I think LaMelo's made one, but I think it's pretty recent.
But they're on pretty much the same extension. You throw in Jovic because I do think it's
Tyler
a slightly
Herro's 2019, by the way.
2019. Okay, so it's 1 year off in terms of draft. So yeah, pretty much the same extension though. And I think that what that does for Miami, because they're very good and Tyler Herro hasn't played.
Yeah.
This season. So what I think that does for Miami is it gives them another high ceiling young player. I think LaMelo has a higher ceiling than Herro just based off of his playmaking ability alone. I think he is as good of a scorer, and I think that in that structure, I scream it from the rooftops. Give LaMelo Ball some structure, and you will see a top 10 player. That is a guy who is like a 3-year-old, unsupervised right now in Charlotte. Sometimes he does some really cool shit, but most of the time he's doing stuff to the detriment of himself and the people around him.
Yeah. Like
a 3-year-old would if he got the reins. Give LaMelo Ball a year of Spoelstra, and he will be a top 10 player. I think that Miami sacrifices Herro for that. I think it's the easiest way to make the money work. I think you throw in Jovic as another good prospect, and you throw in another first round pick. I think that for Charlotte, that gives them, obviously a an all-star level guy
Hmm.
to come in and kind of set the tone. Jovic,
Right.
who I think is another very good prospect to build around. He might be better than like 80% of the guys that Charlotte has taken in the draft the last 5 years. Um, and then they get another first round pick to kind of build with.
Right.
So that's kind of what I was thinking for a Lamelo trade.
I don't hate that one. Um, I think I agree that. I mean, the Heat have already been doing so good this season without Tyler Hero that you're essentially trading somebody that wasn't on your roster anyway. You're bringing in LaMelo Ball for effectively free, not free, but you know what I mean. And yeah, like I mentioned it briefly when we were talking about this off camera, but like LaMelo Ball is the type of player that would give Pat Riley a heart attack if you were watching him every night. But I think that Eric Spoelstra's structure could be so valuable for him because the Hornets,
Yeah.
pretty much since he's got there, have won and not really had many like super reliable veterans. But they've also just not had experienced coaching or anything around that team, and
Right.
so that's what leads to LaMelo Ball, throwing behind the back, no look passes, throwing, taking one-legged step back threes, and just kind of playing street ball out there. When in reality, he is a very talented basketball player. He just kind of doesn't take it as seriously as he would if he was on a team that mattered.
Yeah, if LaMelo was in a position where he was in a structure that had him, if he got to a place where he was shooting like 42% from three consistently, he would be a 30-point per game scorer every
Easily.
season.
Oh yeah,
Like
I mean, because he takes 10 threes a game.
he might put up like Kobe number. Like I'm talking like 35, 36, like James Harden, like that is the step for him that he
Yeah,
could take to put him into that, like, oh, he's an MVP candidate now.
yeah.
Where I think, you get him running 5 miles a day down in Miami, fellas wearing like weight jackets and
Dude,
ankle weights, and
Lamelo Ball
they're
in the Miami
testing their
system.
BMI every week.
He's gonna feel like he
Like,
just entered the military, dude. He's gonna be shell
yes,
shocked.
exactly. He's gonna be like, fuck, I can't drive my go-kart to work anymore.
Yeah,
Like, that's exactly what LaMelo needs, and Miami will be better off for cutting the cord on Harrow now, despite how much it will probably hurt to do.
yeah. And then also, what I like about your trade over mine is that not only do you keep Jaime Jaquez, which is obviously huge, but in your trade, they kept everybody. I mean, you lose Jovic, but they kept Wiggins, they kept
Yeah,
L.A. Larson. Like, they didn't have
you
to
keep
get, like, you're not
you
gutting your
keep
bench depth.
Norm, Bam.
Yeah,
Keeping Norm was really the kind of the focus for me there, because
yeah,
I think having him as a number two in the backcourt next to LaMelo is very important to keeping LaMelo balanced as a scorer.
no, I agree.
Having a guy that he's confident enough to pass to in the backcourt. I know it sounds like stupid, but
No, it's
I
fair,
think
though.
he's
I
just
mean,
one of those guys that he needs to trust his running mate. And I think that Norm is, a guy that, like, he just set the points record. He fastest Heat, or fastest person to hit 300 points after signing with the Heat.
oh,
Like,
I
he's
didn't know
hooping
that.
right now.
I will
Yeah,
say,
he's
hey,
he's a
don't
bucket.
sleep on Bam's 3-pointer. This season, he's shooting 37% from 6 attempts a game. He's been lighting it up.
I won't. I I will not sleep on Bam's 3-pointer.
He's been lighting it up. And Khalil Ware. I mean, Khalil Ware is a bench guy, but he's a good shooter.
Evil Wemby, dude.
The Wemby
That's what
stopper, Khalil Ware.
that's what they're calling him.
Holy shit! I'm just now really looking through the Heat's depth because they're a team that I admittedly haven't watched too much of
Dude,
this
they were
year.
so fun to make these trades with, because I was like,
Dude.
ooh, let's put him. Ooh.
Simone Fontecchio, in 19 minutes a game, he's shooting 48% from 3 on 5.5 attempts a game.
Fuck, dude.
Like, that's crazy. So, but yeah, I liked that we both had the Heat acquiring a guard. That's fun. I think we both had the Heat acquiring LaMelo. Do you have another LaMelo trade, by the way?
I do.
Oh, let's hear it, because I only had the one.
I have LaMelo Ball to the Phoenix Suns.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, 4.
4. Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green,
Oh, it's different.
the 2030 Washington pick swap first, and the 2032 unprotected first.
I thought
Because
you were
the
going to.
questions I have about Ja Morant's value, I did not have those values.
Sure, that's fair.
I think you include those two first, no matter what, when you're trading for.
Yeah. That's interesting. Do you think Brittany Renner going back to Charlotte's gonna be like crazy for her?
Dude,
You know what
I
mean?
thought about that for like 1 second, and I was like, no, shut up. I do not do not think about that.
I mean,
So,
it's an important question.
it is, and that's sad.
Because she's already been there once.
But yeah, I think it's a similar reasoning for me with Phoenix's, I guess, psychology with this trade to the Ja Morant one, where it's like you kind of are punting on this year a little bit because you're trading Dylan Brooks, who's been one of your best guys.
Yeah.
Jalen Green hasn't played really this year. He's played a little bit, and he's played well when he has played.
He had
but
a really
he's
good
missed
one game.
like 90% of the season.
Yeah.
So I think you can pretty safely say that exchanging those two guys for Melo is the way to go there. Now, you are ceding control of draft rights to every pick that you control until 2033, which is scary.
Yeah, that is true.
Because 2032 is the next pick that it's like, because they have some of their first round picks, but they're all swaps with other teams.
Yeah.
So like 2032 is the next one that they actually control, and you would be trading that one for LaMelo. But Phoenix is also in a position where they're not going to improve through the draft because they either don't have their pick or they have pick swaps with somebody. So they're not going to be getting the top tier pick no matter what. And LaMelo's 24 and Devin Booker is 29, 30.
Something like that, yeah.
You clearly don't want to trade Devin Booker for whatever reason, even though I think you could get a lot out of him from a lot of teams.
Oh my god, so much.
I think that LaMelo,
Devin
much
Booker's
like
29.
LaMelo, much like a, Trae Young trade or a Ja Morant trade, you're bringing in a fairly young guy to kind of retool. It's a similar thought to like, oh, let's bring in Kevin Durant, oh, let's bring in Bradley Beal, except 10 years younger, and instead of retooling for a championship team, you're looking to retool the core to build around.
And also, I think it's worth noting,
years.
like, obviously this team is not constructed well around Devin Booker, and LaMelo Ball is not the playmaker that Chris Paul was, but LaMelo's best seasons were when he had an all-NBA playmaker next to him, and LaMelo has the potential to be that. Like, he is a very good playmaker, ball handler, gives Devin Booker the opportunity to play off ball a little bit, like.
And it's a similar thing with like why I wanted to exclude Norman Powell from the Miami LaMelo package, because I think you give LaMelo a running mate like Devin Booker, and that's going to unlock his playmaking, because all he needs is confidence in the guys around. Once he has that, he is going to be doing some insane shit with the basketball. And the playmaking that he is going to open up for Devin Booker is, I think, going to be on the level of what Chris Paul was doing.
Yeah.
I, don't love the idea of not having control of a first-round pick until, if you had a child
years.
right now, that kid would be in first grade.
Yeah.
When you had your next control of your first-round pick, that would suck.
Right.
But also, you pretty much don't regardless, because it's 2032 anyway. And you kind of need to retool with what you've got. And what you've got right now is Devin Booker and a lot of guys that I think that what do you think the ceiling for the Suns team is? Like, do you think that
Right
they could
now,
be the 6th seed in the West this year? Like, finishes
no.
the
I think
6th?
this team's playing,
Absolute ceiling. You don't think they could be like 6 out of the plan?
barring major injuries. No, because the thing is, you got to like last year the 6th seed was still a 50-win team. Like the Timberwolves were the 6th seed,
Well,
right?
that's
Like
true. Yeah.
right now, right now they're the 7th seed because they're 9-6. But I don't think they
6, 7.
continue to be. Are you done?
Sorry, continue.
They're currently 600. They're a 60% winning team, and I don't see that continuing through 82 games. Not only do I not see that continuing through 82 games, I don't see any of the teams above them falling off, which being Timberwolves, Spurs, Lakers, Rockets, Nuggets, Thunder. And I also think teams below them, like the Warriors or Trailblazers, could jump above them, right? So like,
Yeah.
I don't see that continuing. Like right now, they're playing really well. They're hot, but like come March, they might be. The thing is, if this team finishes 500, that's a better than anyone expected from them. But
Right.
500 in the West is going to probably end you at play-in, if even. They'll probably make play-in. I don't think they get passed by a team like the Jazz or the Clippers or the Grizzlies or anything. But I do think play-in is kind of their ceiling, unless like something crazy happens or some like injury happens or whatever.
That's fair. Yeah, so I've got Phoenix and Miami making moves. I think both of them are kind of in positions where they could uh, feasibly trade for those players and not look like morons.
Yeah, I like the my I might be a little biased. Actually, I'm not biased at all because none of these were my trades. But I really like Devin Booker or not Devin Booker, Lamelo Ball to Phoenix more than John Morant, just because I like that. I think Lamelo's a better playmaker. Um,
I
and I
would
think,
agree.
but I think both of them also would just work well on the Heat. Both Lamelo and Ja, like I think both of them kind of need that structure that the Heat provide. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I think you put both of those guys in there, you're getting the best out of them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's just what the Heat do, though. All right, so those are our LaMelo Ball and Ja Morant trades. That is kind of it for Trade Corner for now. I'm sure more trade rumors and ideas will be thrown out there as teams start to equalize in the conferences and whatever. But stay tuned because we both like mocking up trades. So even if there's no rumors, we might just make them because it's fun. Um, that being said, thank you for watching yet again. Uh, and we will see you in the next one.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.